What's up, you guys? It is the big dog rocking his Beast Morpher sweatshirt, like in earlier episode. And today we're going to talk about the Power Ranger comics. I know I brought it up a while back, but wanted to get into it with you guys. So I know initially you're thinking, end of 2020, we should probably be talking about these two series, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. But before we go there, we got to hop back a little bit earlier. So when Boom Studios originally started putting out Power Ranger comics, it started with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So this series started a few years back. I want to say about four years now or so, maybe even five, and starts right after the Green with Evil saga took place in the show. Kind of a slightly modernized, different continuity. A lot of people have compared it to Marvel's Ultimate universe line that they had back at, I believe, 2000 is when that started. But really good. If you want to start from the very beginning, that's what I would recommend. This is the series that built up some of the lore of characters that we know now, like Lord Drakkon, and eventually led up to Shattered Grid. Now, although that was the main kind of comic ongoing at the time, went for 55 issues total, but partway through, another series came out of that, which is Go-Go Power Rangers. This takes place before the Green with Evil saga. It's just the original five Rangers. They're still kind of early. It does a little time jumping in the stories of kind of when it takes place, either before they're Rangers, while they're Rangers, and definitely fun. I would say the initial arcs of that, probably about the first two arcs, are very much kind of like how you remember Power Rangers as a kid. The stakes are still there, but it's a little more friendly. It's a little bit easier to access, and to me, it didn't seem as adult-oriented. Not that it was mature content, but I feel like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers main series was definitely something that was geared toward people who grew up with it, but wanted something that was a little more mature in terms of tone. So both these series were great. I enjoyed them a lot. Mighty Morphin, I'd probably say, was my favorite of the two, just because obviously it had Shattered Grid. But within there, you had a lot of different arcs. I'm going to keep everything we talk about as spoiler-free as possible. I should have mentioned it sooner, but it's not like Action Activate to have everything laid out perfectly in the beginning. So you have a bunch of different arcs. For those of you who know about Comixology Unlimited or Kindle Unlimited through Amazon Prime, it's something that I would recommend. I believe you can get the first volume on there to read for free if you have the subscription, but definitely something to pick up. I believe for Mighty Morphin, there's probably like a dozen or so trades you can get outside of the like year 1, year 2, year 3 editions, which are oversized hardcovers. Also recommend that. If you're coming in from scratch, honestly, that's probably the best bet to go. You can sometimes find them on sale at Amazon. Your local comic shop might have them. Big box retailers like Barnes & Noble might as well. You can always check eBay, but that's going to be the way that they're going to present best on a bookshelf, in my opinion. And it's easiest if you're going to start from scratch, that you just get them all in one go, as opposed to trying to pick and choose and find all the different trade paperbacks for there. I don't have them next to me, but since these two series came out, there were original graphic novels. There was one centered around Tommy. There's one centered around the In Space Rangers, and there's another around the Time Force Rangers. I definitely enjoyed these. I like them in different degrees. I'd probably say Soul of the Dragon, which is the Tommy one, is my favorite. These, once again, same thing I said for the Mighty Morphin and Go-Go Power Ranger trades. Same thing with this. They obviously only come in one format, but you can find them at the various spots that I had already listed. So we talked about the two series that started this with Boom Studios, but from that we also had some other spin-offs outside of the original graphic novels. And one of those we had was Ranger Slayer. This was kind of the first issue of kind of going off of some things with that character. For those of you who don't know, Ranger Slayer is tied to Lord Drakkon originally, and is another cool character that was introduced in Go-Go Power Rangers right before the Shattered Grid arc. Definitely played a pivotal role in that, and is really a cool kind of take on that character. So really cool stuff. A lot of great original content has come from these. I know for the Lightning Collection, I talk about it all the time. Lord Drakkon and Ranger Slayer are great figures from the comics. The Solar Rangers are something that comes after Shattered Grid. That's something that's cool too. Without kind of going too deep into that, I love the Solar Rangers design, but the story, to be honest, wasn't my favorite. It was probably my least favorite arc in all of Mighty Morphin. But overall, the comics are great. I have every single issue, minus one or two annuals, which, to be honest, almost all the annuals are side stories, which are fun to read, but not 100% necessary to keep up with all the storylines. There was one for Shattered Grid specifically, but everything else kind of passable. If you find them at retail, they're like $8 or $9. I recommend passing them. If you see them in a $2 bin, pick them up. They're fun reads. But that's the past stuff. That's how it started, how we got some of the most pivotal stories, where we are now. Now, we have these two series that we are going to come back to, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. So, in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers story, we started seeing another team of Rangers called the Omega Rangers. Now, without going into that, it's another team of Rangers that coincides with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Really cool stuff, awesome concept, original to the comic, and is also something that really shows you that it takes a lot from the original show, but is 100% its own thing. Think of it kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The core of it is from the comics, but the execution of it is all its own. The stories don't line up 100%. There's going to be key differences. There's going to be modernization, slight tweaks to characters here and there, improvements here. Like, that's what we're doing here, and it's really awesome to see that these versions of the characters are established as their own and have inspiration from who we remember from the 90s show, but these characters are the same. Jason Scott in the comics and Jason Scott in the show, two totally different guys. So really cool stuff. But with these, the reason we have two now is it really is showing you this is the Mighty Morphin team. This is about Power Rangers. Right now, it's showing the Omega Rangers, but who knows? We're only on issue 2 of each of these. These just launched. One cool thing they did, because I think this was kind of a newer decision of splitting the series, just because we were seeing stories from both teams in the main Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book. We would have to flip-flop here and there almost every other issue, and to me as a reader, it was very cumbersome. I don't mind picking both these up and kind of differentiating which team I'm following, even though there is some connectivity between the two. But one cool thing that I was mentioning is they have covers continuing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers numbering, where I think it was things that were drawn out a long time ago, where like this, I believe, is issue 57, quote unquote, and this was 56, and they have covers for each. But one of the coolest things of this new series, and now we're going to go a little bit more spoilery, so if you don't want to know anything about the comics, please be sure to like, comment down below some of your thoughts, but I'm going to dive into what's going on in the story right now. So we were introduced at the end of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series to this person. This is a new Green Ranger. That's Tommy. That's not Tommy. That's Tommy. That's not Tommy. This is Rocky. This is Zach. This is Aisha. This is kind of season 2/3 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that we remember. So this... also, shout out Bat in the Sun for having this design be officially canon for the comics now. Really cool stuff. So this Ranger, we don't really know too much about him. I have theories. Based on what we've seen in the comic, one character that's been kind of solidly in the background and mentioned in a lot of storylines is their friend Matt. I don't remember his last name off the top of my head, but Matt has been referenced in the Coinless universe. Matt's been in Go-Go Power Rangers and had a pivotal role in either the first or second arc of that series, and Matt's still around now hanging out with everybody. Had a thing with Kimberly, obviously doesn't because she's with Tommy or not with Tommy, we're not sure. It's still kind of who knows with them in the comic at this point, but it's something where I'm leaning toward it being Matt. I could 100% be wrong. Apparently in issue 4 of Mighty Morphin, I believe, we're going to find out who the new Green Ranger is, but the is Promethea the program or the space station that like Terra Venture's based on? Whatever Grace, who the original 1969 Red Ranger. Her program, this is her Green Ranger. She helped bring them to be, jump started the Green Ranger coin with energy from Psycho Green's dagger, and that's why there's kind of the alternate look that we see with that Ranger, slightly different powers, looking a little more evil. But I don't think it's Lord Drakkon. I think it's Matt. If it's not Matt, I don't know who it could be, but definitely something cool to look at. And that's, kind of scatterbrained on a lot of this, to be honest. But this is kind of where we're at in the comics, how we got there, what I like, what I don't like, and what I recommend. So kind of consolidating. I'm going to wave my hands in case anybody's still kind of fast forwarded from the spoiler part. But if you're brand new to this and you liked Power Rangers as a kid, kind of want to get back into something, read Mighty Morphin, read Shattered Grid. Do those things. If you like it, choose your own adventure from there. Keep going all in, pick and choose and stay with Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, and then, pick up one or both of these series. Awesome. If you kind of just want fun stories, don't want too much convolutedness, if you will, of what's going on, probably pick up the first couple volumes of Go-Go Power Rangers. It's another fun one that's a little easy to get into. Does start to get a little weird with Ranger Slayer, but I think those stories are kind of self-contained for the most part. You could treat them self-contained. And the graphic novels, Soul of the Dragon was my favorite. The Psychopath, which is the in-space one, was pretty cool. I enjoyed Time Force. Definitely wasn't my favorite, but I did enjoy it. And if you really enjoy the coinless stuff that was brought up before Shattered Grid, definitely check out the Drakkon New Dawn miniseries and Ranger Slayer. Really cool stuff. Hopefully they continue with that. And that's about it. I'm looking forward to see what's going on. If you guys like me talking about comics, want me to talk about it more, let me know below. Always down to. And sorry for the delay on this, but glad finally got to start talking comic stuff. Gazbot, who knows when he's going to catch up, but I'm going to be caught up on the regular. Not going to get spoiled before things release, but when things come out, I'm going to read it and more than happy to talk to you guys about it. So in honor of the usual Action Activate sign off, to the power, see you guys later.